Joining me now with analysis on all the day's developments from Iraq is Tony Shaffer. He's a retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel, now a senior fellow at 2 defense policy think tanks. Why don't we start with this Special Forces team, their analysis? What do we read from this? It sounds like perhaps the operation's being effective if these Yazidis have, most of them at least, have safely gotten away.
I think the success here is because, as stipulated in the opening, the Peshmerga have been very aggressive in going in there. The moment we started doing airstrikes, Mike, they stepped in. They just need that little nudge to get in there. So I think our assessment may have been high about the number there. Plus, Peshmerga, for goodness sake, are very effective as combat fighters. They're very good with small arms, and when you give them that little nudge, they're going to go in there and do what they need to do.
Let's talk about next steps. I mean,
sure.
How do you see things playing out? Because I think in the past you've said, you know, the bombing's just not enough, right?
The Pentagon said that on Monday when they talked about their initial assessment that we have slowed the progress of ISIS. We have not stopped it. And so there's two things we have to consider right now. What is going to be our strategic goal for the region? I think the president owes it to the American people and to the world to declare what our goals are. And our goals regarding this, Mike, can be very different than what our goals are for the Iraqi government. I agree with the president. They need to sort their own issues through. This ISIS thing is not about the Iraqi government. It's about a terrorist threat, which basically is killing everybody, to include, they're basically a Sunni group. They will kill Sunni who don't agree with them. They kill anybody who don't agree with them. So this is something that has to be dealt with. Secondly, we have to look at the long-term effects of what our actions in the region are going to be. Do we allow for example, the Kurds to break off? There's a good possibility here as they stretch their wings, so to speak, as stipulated in the introduction as well. People are going to be a little bit concerned about what they do if they become an independent state.
One of the things that you kind of outlined that I thought was very interesting is the United States actually engaging parties in the region to create like a mini NATO, so to speak. Talk to me about that thought.
One of the things we've done, I think, done fairly well is we've actually trained and equipped a number of allies in the region: the Egyptians, the Jordanians, the Turks, as well as the Saudi Arabians. For goodness sake, when we talk about boots on the ground, we don't need to talk about our boots on the ground. We need to talk about how we can array our allies in such a way to be effective. And let's remember, we're talking about with the Saudis and the Turks and Egypt, they're all Sunni. So let the Sunni really go after this really abhorrent Sunni group. And then look at how we can use them to stabilize the region. We've talked about this Arab Spring ad infinitum for years. The one missing piece is stability. And for prosperity, for economic prosperity of the region, you must first achieve stability. Not to discount democracy, Mike, but you've got to get to stability first before any democracy can even start to think about being successful.
And the key thing here about ISIS, and one of the reasons why this NATO concept that you have would certainly have some appeal in the region, I would think, is that ISIS just doesn't have designs on a small pocket in Iraq. I mean,
they've published their map of desire. So no, it's not like these guys have, they get this Islamic State and they're done. These folks, you can trace their roots back. The ISIS now has been combined with some of the Ba'ath Party elements, Saddam Hussein's elements. The Ba'ath Party is a derivative of the Nazi Party if you go back and trace their so these are radicals. These people are true racists who will kill anybody who disagrees, anybody. So it's not about Iraqi governance. It's about a terrorist group who will kill anybody who disagrees with them. And that's what we need to focus on for now.
Nouri al-Maliki seems to be digging his feet in. How does that complicate things?
Oh, it does. At the time when your house is on fire, the roof's burning, the last thing you want to do is try to organize a family on who's in charge. And that's what they're trying to do here. They've got to get their act together. Maliki needs to step down with grace and move on. We have seen now Maliki take his bad governance resulted in conditions being primed for ISIS to be successful in this area of the Sunni area of Iraq. So he created the problem. He cannot be part of the solution.
All right, Tony Shaffer, thanks so much for coming in, offering your analysis.